So since last night's debate, I've been thinking about some of the comments I've heard in regards to gender just throughout this whole presidential election, or what's taken place so far. And overwhelmingly, I get told by males that I know, although none in my family, we're the progressive family, uh, that there should never be a woman as president. Now, there are a lot of Republicans and just conservatives and people who generally lead to the right that don't want Clinton as president. And I've never felt they would have, uh, they'd be more reserved or less inclined to attack her if she were male. So what I'm saying is, I feel their dislike of her is rooted in her policies, which I would actually say would make for valid arguments rather than just, oh, she's a woman, we can't have a woman. And I really, that's the one saving grace of her candidacy for me and for I think most uh, people who support her that are progressives. I'm gonna just go right out and say it because I honestly believe when you take away the fact that if she is to be elected, she'd be the first woman president, you really have just sort of Obama's policies and a third term of that. So, really, when you get down to it, there's not much difference. And I think that's a reason a lot of people are going to Sanders and a lot of people are branching out to the Republican Party because they've, with Democrats and them kind of having most of their other presidential candidates out by now, and there's not even, I mean, we're still practically a year away from the election. That has fed into the narrative that her election, her becoming president, is inevitable. You can't change it. Nothing you do is going to make any difference. And part of I guess the joy a lot of people had in voting for Obama and putting him in the White House was they made the difference. People said he couldn't do it, and they changed it. It was a complete reverse. We're seeing that with Sanders' campaign right now, and really with what he's doing, uh, is sort of reminiscent to Obama. But the only problem with him I have is just I still kind of think he's too old. When you get in your 70s, just I don't even want to mess with you. But I'm more inclined to support him over Clinton because I personally agree with his policies more, and he seems more real to me. I mean, everything with her is so rehearsed, and it's almost as rehearsed as this type of notion that a lot of people have, a lot of men, or not even a lot of men, but just some men have, that we should never have a woman. And I think my issue with that is just rooted so much in wanting to change 200 years of guys getting elected, guys going to the White House, guys doing this, guys doing that. I want to change that so badly, and she really was, or still is, the person to go to most realistically see that change. Because no one's gonna vote for Fiorina. No one's gonna even bother with her. No one's gonna go over there and say, "Oh, I'm gonna pick her because I want a woman." And Clinton's got a much more impressive resume. I have no problem admitting that. But the problem I have comes from the fact that I don't see anything in her that would indicate to me I'm going to experience change or I'm going to have some difference from the last 8 years. And that's, I think, big reason why a lot of times these last 6 elections, just since 1992, you keep having two-term presidents and then one from the other party. So that's what's led me to believe that in the end, the Democrat might not even win. and I'm really scared for Sanders because it's just so hard for me to see 16 years of just Democrats in the White House. But Clinton's problem stems from the fact that you have a person completely just told by the party over and over again, you're going to be the nominee. It's going to be you. It's going to be you. And it's so frustrating to me because I love the process of the primary where we don't know who it could be. We got the front runner, but that could change, and it did. In 2008, it did. But here, I'm not so sure. And you do have males who will agree with her policies and go, "Oh no, I'm not going to vote for her. That's crazy." Ugh. But they'll try to register in the primary to make it to where she can't be the person that is nominated, uh, using their vote to vote for a male or some man. And again, that's her only saving grace for me at this point. That she be the first woman, and she's qualified in my view, just in terms of having held offices and not just running to run like Fiorina's doing, who I predict will end up like Bachmann, just as I predict Carson will end up like Kane. They're not going to win. Uh, but yeah, I want this to change, and I really believe it's time for one. But it doesn't have to be Clinton, and I think when more people realize that, you're going to see a big drop in all of her supporters. And it's even sadder to say that if it's not her who gets it this time, it might not come for another 20, 30 years. That's equally as saddening.